Whoa.
Fighting out of the red corner, the reigning, defending, ESFL Undisputed Champion of the World. Fighting out of the red corner, the reigning, defending, ESFL Undisputed Champion of the World.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and everyone in between, welcome to the #1 virtual fight capital in the world, the ESFL, and we are welcoming you to week 6 of our undisputed season presented by CFESA. I am your host and commentator for the evening, Kingsley, and alongside me is the one, the only Boiler. How are you doing today, man?
Kingsley, I'm stoked. Week 6. This is really, I think, the most important week of the year. And we were talking a little bit about this earlier, how in the NFL, the last week of the season, yeah, there's a couple important games, but it's usually the week before where, you know, it's make or break for a lot of teams, and in this case, competitors. So there's a few guys that have locked up their spot in the final 8, the grand finale. That's going to be August 13th. But we got this week and we got next week, and there's a lot of people on the bubble, and they're also jostling for seeding and positioning. So we got a lot of awesome matchups today that are actually extremely important on what's going to happen in the future.
Absolutely. It's the penultimate week before we get into the playoffs and the finale, but we still have more week to go. And the standings are super tight. Speaking of tight, our fight card is a tight 5 fights that we're going to have for you guys. 4 absolutely confirmed, but we are going to make sure that we get all 5 of these amazing fights for you guys. Look at our whole fight card that we have for you. Pryoxis versus BoneDoinWork for the main event. EyeGameUWatch versus Jobe. Addict 85 versus Royszn. All 3 fights are looking at the top of the card, looking absolutely amazing. But Boiler, when you look at this card, knowing this is the penultimate round and points are on the line, how excited are you for this card?
I'm so stoked because we've been able to make it in such a way that we get unique fights every week. And although we do have a little bit of randomness in the matchmaking, we're also putting guys that are at that same skill level together. So, like, for example, Jobe versus EyeGameUWatch, you could easily see them in the finals of the grand finale. And we're getting them as the co-main tonight. And when last week we had a ton of great fights, but I really think this, especially the main event, co-main event, and the co-main event, those top 3 fights of the night, I think are just insane. Like Addict 85 versus Royszn, I think both of those guys are right at the top of maybe most underestimated coming into the season, at least in my opinion. Like Royszn, not Royszn, but Royszn has just been crushing it. He's got the most KOs of anybody. He was a reserve to start. Like, he wasn't even on the active roster to start the season. He's come through. He's got 8 points, which puts him tied for second place with 3 wins, 2 losses, 2 knockouts for Royszn. So, and Addict 85 has just been doing massive work. He was at the top of the standings and pretty darn near that as well now. So that's a sick Coco. The co-main, EyeGameUWatch the Jobe, like I said earlier, they are, I think, 2 of the top 4, you know, in terms of favorite to win it all right there. And Pry versus BoneDoinWork. I mean, Pry is definitely in that top 4 most likely, or I would think predicted to get to the finals and maybe even win it all. And BoneDoinWork, he has 2 fights of the night already. He's already, even though he's got a little bit of ups and downs, some wins, some losses, you know, he's 3 wins, 2 losses, and 2 of them were fight of the night, and most of his losses were like super razor thin. So Pry versus BoneDoinWork is going to be crazy. They've been talking, I'm not going to say talking trash, but in a good way. And BoneDoinWork's like, I'm going to bring the pain. I'm going to step right in front of you. And Price says, look, I'm looking to outbox you, outsmart you. So we'll see how those styles clash.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that we have it for a main event, we saw Pryoxis, as we take a look at the standings right here, Pryoxis tied for 3rd, hanging on 7 points, while BoneDoinWork at 6 points. So this is going to be a very consequential main event along with our other matches. But the way the whole standings goes, if you want to get a win, that will be 2 points for your standings. So a huge 2 points that you get. But then there's extra bonus point if you get the knockout and the KO bounty. So a maximum of 3 points could be on the line for anyone who wins in this penultimate round, which is going to be super exciting. But someone that is looking to make 3 points as we get out of the standings is our first matchup in TLGLEGEND, who very late got into the competition, but now is on a 2-0 win fight streak, and he's looking to be up in the upper echelon, possibly going to 7 points, going against Uncle Talent here, Boiler.
Yeah, TLGLEGEND. I was told by multiple people once we got the season started, like, yo, reach out to Legend. He just joined the ESFL server. He's worthy for sure of joining your guys' season. So really happy to have him here. And of course, good old Uncle Talent, man. He's 1-3 with a draw, so 1-3-1, but he does have a knockout, and he's been a great opponent and put up some great fights, even in his losses. So I think this will really be the test for Legend. You know, he's got a couple wins, but one was actually a forfeit. So remember that his opponent pulled out at the last second. So really 1-0. And now he's facing Uncle Talent, who has one of the tougher strengths of schedule of the year, for real. Uncle Talent has fought some killers, and yeah, he's 1-3-1, but he's gone up against the tough one, so he ain't scared of Legend, I don't think.
Yeah, he's not scared at all. But again, Legend has been going on a little bit of a tear. Sure, he only got the one win, but he's undefeated. And the fact that he could get possibly a maximum 3 points and put him possibly tied for third, we'll have to see how the rest of the card shakes out, especially with the main event of Coco's and the co-main event. But looking at this matchup, as we see in the fire selection screen, Joe Louis going against Floyd Patterson, which is going to be very interesting to see. I think this is in the heavyweight division, so a lot of power, but along with the hot fixes and the patches that we see in the Undisputed, this could be a very interesting matchup that we see here, Boiler.
For sure. No, Joe Louis and Floyd Patterson. I love the heavyweight roster in this game. It's deep. It has a lot of legends, and Joe Louis is a beast, and Floyd Patterson, almost said Mayweather, but of course Floyd Patterson is a little bit of what Mike Tyson patterned his style off of, at least the peekaboo and really that head movement and being a shorter fighter, extremely explosive. So this is just fireworks ready to happen. I love heavyweight, and I love seeing, people besides Fury and Ali. So here we go, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. TLG Legend using Floyd Patterson in the blue corner on the right, while Uncle Talent using Joe Louis on the left side in the red corner. And already a little bit of a filling out process, trying to work the jab for both competitors. And you can see a little bit of launch, trying to go for a power shot from Legend's side, not really fully connecting there. Trying to use something that we saw from the previous patch of where the diagonal slides or slips are being more into play in this game style.
Yes, I had a lot of fun commenting with Rob last week. He had not really seen or heard of the diagonal dodges that were added, I guess, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe early July, and he was all about it. He thought it added a whole new dynamic ability for the offensive fighter, both for counter punching as well as for feints. Like, you do one of those, draw out a punch, and then counter the counter. Big shot there. Anyway, last week we saw a lot of fighters using it. I think we'll see even more this time around.
Yeah, we saw a huge whip from Uncle Talent trying to wrap around with the right hook, not really to fully land. And we see TLG Legend using his distance very well, but needs to watch out for the combinations that are coming out from Talent, because Talent is no slouch. He's faced high top competition, and he's looking forward to seeing that he can make it into that top 8, because only the top 8 are going to make it to the playoffs. The rest of the 16 will be left out in the cold. And so far, we've seen a little bit of jab work, we've seen a little bit of power punches pinching in right there, and combinations and counters coming in heavy. Legend is also put on his button with 30 seconds left to go.
Beautiful work, man. We're seeing some good action here. It's technical, but also devastating. Big shots, snapping their head back. Remember, we're at 1.5 times damage and 1.5 times stamina in the ESFL, so this is doing a lot more damage than you might see on ranked.
Yeah, you can see, look at that stamina that Talent has been using, along with his power shots, along with the whipping, and connecting with some of the shots. He has lost over possibly 8% of his health, or his stamina, using that. Actually, excuse me, that was his health on the red bar, but the stamina bar was way lower. So it's going to be very interesting what his strategy is going to be in the second round. As you see, still kind of being in the phone booth a little bit, not really giving him much of a break, but while TLG Legend is more than willing to be in the fight.
And I felt like Talent had that first round in the bag until the end there, and maybe Legend came back. Now, I'm a notoriously bad judge, and boxing judges are notoriously bad as well. So, broke his arm, I thought there.
He broke his arm so bad because that counter was so vicious to the body. But man, TLG Legend not taking any prisoners, just working on the body again. That has to be his favorite, his area of just expertise, knowing that his opponent's weak in the body and using so much stamina. That has to be so well for TLG Legend.
I love it, man. I love working the body. That's beautiful work by Legend. And whipping hooks, whether it's a counter or not. When he went upstairs with the right hand that time, when it's very obvious and digs to the body again, Legend's really opening it up.
Yeah, trying to become a legend of his own, trying to make his way from the late start of this regular season to make it into the playoffs. He is working on these combinations, working on the bite that's working so well for him. Well, Uncle Talent, every time he seems to come in, it seems like he's reacting to the punches that are laid upon him. He's not being the proactive fighter that he usually is.
No, and it's hard to do, especially if you get someone with this level of defense and head movement. And I mean, Legend is using the head movement and defensive and counter abilities of Patterson so well, and that'll put a seed of doubt in Talent's mind, and that's what he's got here. You can't freeze up, but you also can't keep getting hit with big counter shots.
Yeah, he's working with the jabs a little bit in the last couple of seconds of the second round, but again, the vicious straight that's coming from TLG Legend,
Woo!
it's working well, but now we're going to a little bit of a brawl at the end of the second round right there, and look at that stamina for Uncle Talent, 77, and we're just only going to the third round, so he's going to be part of the no stam game that we've seen before in other regular season matchups, but now it's up to him. Can he use that much of a power? Can he use what he has left to get his opponent damaged? Because I think TLG Legend, he's going to keep at this pace with his stamina.
I think so, and it's a combo of missing some shots, so Legend's doing good with the defense, but the body work punishes in this game. It actually does, in my opinion, pretty damn good job of draining a fair amount of stamina for taking big counter shots to the body. I think whiffs and too much volume doesn't drain enough stamina in this game, but actually the body work does, and Legend is really showing that right here.
Yeah, he's really showing it, and with 1 minute pass in this third round right here, you didn't see TLG Legend attack the body. He's going more headhunting, but there it goes. The body shots, that's been his marquee moment of the previous 2 rounds. If he keeps on doing that, he might have an opening to the head, and he's seeing a little bit. He's getting those combinations flowing with the jab into the hook, but right now we see Talent trying to go and trying to close the distance a little bit more, trying to find his way to counter, but he's getting hit with so many counters. Every time he dives in, it seems like he's just trying to search something out of this cave and trying to answer back. He gets a nice little counter for his troubles, but again, the body shots are landing, and the head damage is hurting. TLG Legend working onto his body. With 1 minute to go, he has plenty of time to work a knockdown.
That was insane. I was noticing how his head health indicator was popping just a little earlier, and about 20 seconds later, big counter right hand, survived it and came right back for more. Did Talent, so either that's bravery or stupidity, not sure, but he's right back in there.
And how deflating does it have to be if you're Uncle Talent right here? You getting hit with so many body shots, you're like, okay, I need to protect the body. But once you get hit in the head and you already see that you're already kind of rocking that situation, that's what a damper going to the next round. That's where we're approaching the 5-second mark of this third round right here, Boiler.
And that's what I really like about, actually more like what I dislike about Fight Night Champion and games with kind of the weak block where you just push one button and it automatically blocks high, low, left, right, no difference. At least in this, you got to pick up or down where you're going to block, at least with most defensive blocking styles.
And very interesting that the Company Box predictions had 2 rounds for TLG Legend, but that last round, even though he got rocked, went to Uncle Talent in one judge's eye. So very interesting how they're seeing the scar cards a little bit. As you see, the body shots and jabs are working for Talent. Talent's still in this fight. He's trying to manage his distance a little bit more, but needs to be very careful about the head hunting.
Yeah, he's getting that momentum now, but he said that commentary curse, he's hit. Health's halfway down almost. He looks like he's survived, but he's still a little rocked.
Still a little rocked indeed. And all right, the lunge and back from TLG Legend is working so well. And he's getting those hooks in. The body shots into the uppercut, just working so nice, flowing perfectly. It seems like when they go into these trades, TLG Legend has the perfect answer. He knows the right spots where he needs to attack. Well, Uncle Talent, it seems like he's fighting for his life. Every time he has like one momentum forward, he takes 2 steps back as he gets rocked down for a 3rd time. A nice little rock, and that has to be very concerning for Uncle Talent.
That was beautiful. Just a naked power left hand that just had his opponent off balance and caught him right into it, stunned him again.
Yeah, and it seems like with these stuns, it seems that TLG Legend is following up. Look, that huge whiff. It seems like the perfect punish for Legend. Legend is finding his way to just go in and find his ability, but a nice hook from Uncle Talent. Working very nice, going to the body, to the head. And with 37 seconds, he needs to find some positive momentum. And with a counter like that, that might be the start of it.
You know, Talent did a good job of retaking momentum, or at least stop the bleeding, because early on I thought he was winning, and then it quickly turned to Legend's favor. And Talent's done a decent job of getting back in the fight, getting some good damage, getting some good volume, maybe even winning last round. I still think he's losing, and definitely in the long term, Legend is getting more damage on him, etc. But he's making a fight of it for sure. It's been a very fun fight, 4 rounds in.
Yeah, very interesting and very fun fight. And you see the health and stamina, 64% for Uncle Talent. We don't know what the other side is, so he might be coming up with his pace, but we'll have to see. We're going into the halfway mark of this first fight of the regular season, week 6. you have to think TLG Legend has to be feeling a huge boost of momentum. I rocked him 3 times. I'm getting the strikes I want to the body, but defensively, he needs to keep out the same pressure. Oh, and he got rocked himself.
Yes, exactly. Nice, man. That's why talent keeps it dangerous. And again, he's been deep waters with some of the best on the roster, so he ain't giving up. He ain't losing spirit here. He definitely thinks he can still pull this off with big shots. Maybe he can pull it off, man.
He can, absolutely can. Anything is possible in that boxing ring, in the Undisputed, and in the ESFL. But right now, the body shots, it seems like Talent is more going to the body, mix up his shots a little bit, but needs to watch out for the trades. It seems he wants to go more inside, trying to work that jab and go to his branching paths. And we see Legend, he's slipping a little bit. He's being a little bit more patient than what he was in the past previous rounds.
He isn't. Does that mean he's worried he's going to lose too much of his own stamina? Because he's been throwing pretty hot and heavy. We obviously can't see that right now. Or is he getting a little worried about getting caught? Because he's been a couple big counters have caught him too. So both guys got respect for each other. I know that.
Yeah, and we see a little bit of blood on the mat right there. So someone is cut in that boxing ring. So that could be a cut that Legend has known about, because we don't see his other side. But I don't think there's a cut on Talent. So maybe that cut has been opened up by so many hooks, so many jabs to the face on the left side that could possibly hurt him. So with 25 seconds left to go, Talent has a chance. Oh, and vicious hooks coming out.
Yeah, man. Good stuff here. They're both playing some pretty this is pretty technical. There's been some good action and good strikes, but these guys are both playing with their brains, not just spamming buttons, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we go into the end of the 5th round, a little bit of a change of momentum. Uncle Talent sees that his opponent can bleed, and there was no cut on his side, so Legend has to be very careful of the left side, because he definitely has a cut that he needs to be worried about. But right now, how much the Talent pushes the envelope, how much as he goes aggressive into these next couple of rounds, because next round we will see the Copy Box predictions, and it could go either way. We know Legend was up 2 rounds to 1, but we'll have to see right here, Boiler.
I feel like Talent has to draw Legend in and then counter him and be his best shots. So if Talent keeps pushing forward, he's going to fall into Legend's plan. That's just my thought of what I've seen so far. The Talent's going to continue to move forward, and he's winning this round so far, I think, just off volume alone. There you go. Nice shots. Overextended himself a little too much there, though.
Yeah, he did a lot of it. He did a lot of like power shots. But one thing I'm seeing is the laboring of TLG Legend. And now you see Uncle Talent coming in, working to the body. Not really to close the distance, but not enough. Just a sliver of rocking health left. And we're halfway mark of the 6th round. We see Uncle Talent flipping the script a little bit, working with his straights, working with the hooks. Now sees blood in the water. Call it Shark Week for him, because right now Legend is very just hurt right now.
He is, but he responded with a huge left hand that put Talent back in his place. Talent's under 50% stamina right now. We don't know what Legend is. I bet he has a little bit more. But on the other hand, Legend's been getting beat up a little bit. This fight is a lot closer than maybe we would have thought after the first couple rounds, where I thought Legend might be able to take it over.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Uncle Talent is going for it, trying to land the hooks in. But while TLG Legend, he wants to go back in. But how many trades can he handle? With 15 seconds, do you try to leave it all on the floor, knowing that your opponent's stamina is kind of low? You had some labor shots, trying to work to the body back again. But it seems we will go into the round in a blaze of glory. But right now, round 7, this is probably going to be the most consequential round of this whole fight.
I think so, and the question is, who's going to run out of gas first, and who can actually score that knockdown? Both guys have been hurt and nearly put down. If someone can score a knockdown in this round, that might really put them up on the cards, and something that can't be, fought back against.
And the biggest thing, we saw the Copy Box predictions, it is all tied up, 57-57, so it could be anyone's fight. We saw 3 rocks go into the head of Uncle Talent. Uncle Talent able to enter back with 2 rocks of his own. It's all about this round. Who can take the advantage? We saw the stamina be low for Uncle Talent, but how much is that stamina of TLG Legend? Is very low. We see him laboring with his power shots, trying to go in, but now he's whipping. And you see the jabs working very nicely. Not the combinations landing for Legend. Boiler, this is very interesting to see.
It is. This is one of the most fun fights to start a card that I can remember. Like I said, high level of talent, but also neither guy is really like scared of the other in any way. So we're getting a variety of offense, good defense, and a storyline here in the 7th round where the question is, can talent finish this? And he looks like he's about ready to. Opposite of the commentary. Timber, buddy.
Unbelievable. You saw the magnificent combination from Uncle Talon and then a vicious left hook to bring his opponent down. Even though TLG Legend was able to come back up, now his playoff hopes are on life support right now. He needs to find a way to come back. He was able to get the first lead, but you saw the scorecards. Maybe that played a mental factor. But right now with 25 seconds left, you see Uncle Talon trying to go for it. He wants to find a way to attack the body, to attack the head, find a way to get his hooks in. And with 10 seconds, this would be a nice escape act, a magician act for TLG Legend.
Hey, you don't want a 10-7. You don't want to get knocked down again, but unfortunately you lost this round. You lost it big. At best, you got to sweep the next 3 rounds if you're Legend. And really, you want to try to get at least a knockdown too, I think. So Legend, we'll see if Legend changes his game plan, but he's definitely behind right now.
Yeah, he's definitely behind. Do you have to think that he might go back to the body shots? Because that was giving him the most success in the first 2 rounds. And it seems like he went a little bit more head hunting after he saw those couple of rocks. And defensively, sometimes you get in that flow state where you're like, okay, I'm so far ahead that I don't even need to worry about anything. So you see the blockades being low for Uncle Talon. Maybe that's his thought process going to his next couple of rounds. Oh, but look at the hooks.
I remember almost exactly when he stopped going to the body because he had landed so many good body counters. Big action, man. They're still chucking for sure. But I agree with you, man. Legend, he was landing real nice to the body. Started to go upstairs almost exclusively for a few rounds, and he's gotten back to some body shots, but maybe too little, too late. In retrospect, maybe a mistake, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, and we'll have to see how it is in these next couple of seconds, because who knows who's going to take it. We saw the knockdown go for Talon, so it's definitely going to be a 10-8 round. But the counters are just so magnificent. Every time they go into his phone booth area, it seems like he's able to get that hook, get the counter, and just land like 2 more punches at the end of it. It's just these hooks are doing so well against the head of Legend, and he still has that cut, mind you. So there's going to be a lot more damage onto the face of TLG Legend.
Yes, if you can land the first and the last punch of a combination, you're probably winning the fight. Doesn't mean you didn't get caught with a huge shot in between and knocked you out, but so you know there are exceptions. But generally, you get the first and the last punch to score of your combo when of your exchange, you're in good shape.
Yeah, you're in good shape. You see his switch stance for TLG Legend just switching again. I think into orthodox or maybe southpaw. I'm a bit of a noob, but right now we're just seeing some good hard boxing at the end of this 8th round. And so far, just going to Blaze of Glory. You saw a perfect combination from Talon with his stamina so low. That has to be big going to the confidence of Talon there, Bola.
Yeah, and he's hit the 30, pretty much the 30% stamina is the cap. It's the floor, the lowest amount you can get. He's pretty much there, so might as well just fight as much as you can. Don't worry about stamina anymore. You're at the minimum. And as I've said on this broadcast in the past, having super low stamina doesn't really hurt you as much as maybe it could or should. So Talent probably should just fight his best fight from here on out, not even worry about his gas tanks.
Yeah, but one thing that he's not worried about his gas tank is TLG Legend able to land a vicious power shot onto the face of Uncle Talon, trying to follow it up with a couple of combinations. But now, what can defensively he do to open up his opponent? Because right now, lunging back is not going to be the biggest case for him. He might need to change it up, trying to change up the timing possibly. Because Uncle Talon, he's still going to go for it. He's still going to work the jabs. He's going to try to close the distance as much as he possibly can and then find his right opening. You see the nice uppercut to the body working very well, but not really able to get the biggest distance. But those combinations right there into the fumble has been the best move for Uncle Talon.
It is when he keeps firing and keeps moving forward.
He just gone to Valhalla.
He ain't coming back, huh?
He ain't coming back, but will he come back from getting knocked down? Again, his get up is very nice. He's able to get back up.
Like the quickest get up I ever seen.
Yeah, was that like the 4th? Or like the 4th
4
count?
seconds, and it was the second time knocked down, and the 4 count. I didn't even know like you could do it like that.
Well, if he can get up, If he could get up that quickly, he needs to get up that quickly into this fight. Because right now, 2 knockdowns, 2 rocks on his head, and now Talon is filling all the confidence with 15 seconds into this 9th round, the 10th round. He might get 3 points. That's going to be the biggest thing, because if he gets 3 points, he is tied for 3rd for Uncle Talon.
He still got a shot because he's gotten a little lag there, a little lag. Okay, good. I thought maybe
We're good. We're good.
Talent, yeah, he's got 3 losses, but he's got to win. He's got to draw. If he gets a finish, win here, 3 points. Like you said, he could be in that tiebreaker case, and you know, this is big for both of them right now.
Yeah, very big for Uncle Talon. As you see, 86 to 83 going into the final 10th round of this first matchup of our 4 card. And right now, we're seeing TLGLEGEND. He wants to go in. I can tell that he wants to use the same energy that he had before, but so many counters, so many striking has been onto his head, and along with the cut, along with the bite shot, trying to go for a power straight landing, but not really doing as much to the effect. Oh, but he gets back with a vicious knockdown. TLGLEGEND comes back in the 10th and final round. Can we see Uncle Talon come back in? And it will be into the 4th count, but that is huge. That is monumental. He has plenty of time, possibly a minute 30 left in this 10th and final round. Minute 40. Here we go. This is business picking up here, Boiler.
That's unbelievable that Talent got up after that. He got hit like 3 times on the way down with power shots, big shots. Like, wow, these guys are both warriors, man. $1:20 left, Kingsley. Let's go.
Here we go. Buckle your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ESFL, and they are putting it all on the line. The penultimate week of the regular season. Uncle Talon still closing the distance. Sees the power shot. Sees his opening, but not really to get the full effect. Well, TLGLEGEND, he knows that his power shots is his best move. Will he try to go back into the bite and open up the head? We'll have to see. But so far, counters coming in from Uncle Talon, doing his business. 38 seconds left. Both guys brawling into the paint so far. So close here, Boiler.
This is beautiful, man. Neither one is trying to back up and win on points. They both know I might be losing, and I want to put on a show for the ESFL. That's what we're here for, man.
15 seconds. The big power shots have to come out. Leave everything out. 7 seconds left. Who is going to get that knockdown? Power shots from Talon. And will he lead to the 5-7? Trying to go back and forth. And we will end it into the judges' scorecards. And the winner is Uncle Talon coming back with 2 knockdowns, 2 rocks, and to take the 2 points, going into 6 points clear in the standings.
Man, that was fun. That was a great match. That's a fight of the night potential right there, to be honest, Kingsley. We're going to have to keep that. I mean, we've only had 1 fight, obviously, but that's number 1. It's going to be tough to beat that. We got some bangers coming up, but that was back and forth, a lot of action, knockdowns, but also technical fighting, good defense and counters. Look at the stats. Like, they were just well-rounded all about it. I guess I missed the scorecard, but I think it was only like a 1 or 2 round.
It was 94 to 93. The 10-8 round helped TLGLEGEND. So if he was able to get another one, it could have been a draw. So that's how close you could cut the razor's edge of the standings in that fight as well. So kudos for Uncle Talon. We saw in the beginning of that fight, he was getting hit with some body shots. He was getting rocked so many times, but to keep up with that same energy throughout the middle rounds and saw that what he was doing was working out, he stuck with it, and it panned out all in the end.
Mental fortitude and mental toughness is what I saw from Uncle Talon there, because he could have kind of freaked out a little bit because he was getting caught big time by those counters by Legend in the end of the first and into the second, 3rd round. He was getting beat up. He was down to like 75% stamina after 2 or 3 rounds or whatever. Like, he was getting worked, to be honest, but he's like, you know what? I'm not going to pack it in. I'm not going to be, scared. I'm not going to fight scared. I'm going to just come forward with technical aggression. And he turned the tables right quick. Great fight for both of them, for real, though. Great job. And congrats to Uncle Talon.
I love that term, technical aggression. I want to see if more people will use that in the later parts of this fight card, because we still have possibly 3 more fights onto this card. I think we're going to be moving forward because we saw someone get into the top, in the top 8 with the 6 points for Addict 85 in Royszn. I think that's our next matchup. This one is possibly, along for main event, the biggest one, because Royszn, he's tied for 2nd, and Addict 85, he's tied for 3rd. So both these guys are trying to make their way into the top tier.
Yep. Can't guarantee anything, but both guys probably have qualified for the Elite Eight, but you never
Is there
know
any
what
wood next
happens.
to you? Can you knock on wood? Because, like, honestly, it
I
might be a little bit
I have
crazy.
I don't care who gets in. I just want the best, so they can knock on their own wood. I curse both of them, I guess. Commentary curse on both, but no, both of these guys, I think, in my own personal opinion, have performed a lot better than maybe people thought they were. I'm not going to say they were dark horses coming in, but first off, Royszn was a reserve, and he came in on week one, literally like I think 20 minutes before we went live. Came in, got the dub, beat King Diaz in week one, and he's been just rattling off wins. Couple tough losses, but against the best of the best. And by the way, again, Royszn has 2 knockouts, the most of anybody in the season so far. And then Addict 85 was just almost untouchable for the first several weeks, at least the first few weeks. He's taken a loss or two, but they were razor thin, and some of his wins are huge too. And he's got 7 points. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Addict and Royszn. I guess that's what we got up next, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And get your predictions out there on the Twitch chat. Make sure you try to see who do you think is going to win, hopefully, in this contest. Because, again, we are live on the ESFL Gaming channel on Twitch and on YouTube. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff to support the channel as we are sponsored by the CF ESL. We will talk about them after this fight. As we see, I think we are going into the fight as we speak. This is the
We're
loading
locking
screen.
in.
And we're getting confirmation, so hopefully we get to see
Awesome.
who is who and who is using who.
Yes. So I have that info. They are playing remote play, so they're both going to have the same name on the screen, but one will be a guest. Point is, it really helps with the lag, and they can add other settings. But Addict 85 is on the right. Addict is Daniel Jacobs. Addict is Daniel Jacobs in the blue corner. And by the way, also, sorry, there are no predictions on Twitch this week. There will be next week.
I did the whole spiel, and we're not gonna have.
I know.
We're gonna get this all set for the finale. I'm gonna guarantee we're gonna have predictions for the finale. God dang it!
I'll be running it in the back instead of doing commentary. I had to get back in the booth. It was just too much fun, man. So, all right. So yeah, we got Addict on the right, Royszn on the left, and he's got Kyoungbutta. Kyoumbgutta's a lot of fun, Kingsley. Here we go, buddy. 10 rounds.
He's a lot of fun. Again, Royszn on the left side uses Joe Kazagi going against Daniel Jacobs and Addict 85 on the right side. And very interesting to see Daniel Jacobs. We know Joe has been like a very much a meta pick in this division for the ESFL, but Daniel Jacobs, what's the report on him going into this fight against a Joe?
Gosh, I don't have it in front of me. Lack of professionalism, I know.
No,
we've seen Daniel Jacobs fight at least once in the ESFL, and I gotta wonder if it was Addict that picked him, but it's escaping my memory right now. I got a record somewhere, but we've seen him once or twice. But Kyoungbutta is definitely the quote unquote meta pick, or more likely to be used. I love using Kyoungbutta, but that's mostly because he's southpaw and can switch stance nicely. But apparently, he's one of the meta fighters at the top of the top, and so we'll see if Addict can take care of that with Daniel Jacobs.
Yeah, and what we're seeing from Addict 85 is that he's getting these counters, but the way he's working his jab, the way he's working his hooks a little bit, trying to gauge distance, trying to work around, it seems like he's not putting the full pressure onto his opponent. He's working with the speed that he has in Daniel Jacobs. So I'm liking what he's doing. He's working the body, just giving it a little bit of a time. And look at that. His second counter of the fight so far. With under 1 minute, he just keeps on working every single time. And it has Royszn a little bit frazzled, trying to work on the outside a little bit.
Yes. It's I like this clash of styles right now. I feel like especially Royszn feels particularly uncomfortable. Of course, it's only the first round. You got to work through it. And that's one thing I like about boxing. Some people might dislike it. I know a lot of our fans here on ESFL are, MMA focused, but boxing allows you a little bit more time, a little bit more rounds to download your opponent, download the information, get warmed up, get kind of worked over. I mean, look at Canelo. I swear. Good finish there. In real life, Canelo will just like analyze and kind of play with his food for 3-4 rounds before he starts unloading. You don't see that as much in MMA. So anyway, we'll see if Addict is doing that or if he starts to, the tide starts to turn like last fight.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Well, already we're seeing a little bit of a difference from the first fight. Not really much stamina being used, more technical boxing that we're seeing in this first round. But you can see the stamina very much even, just one percentage point from a remove, but it's very even on the health. So both guys get some good work in. I love what we're seeing from Addict 85, working the body and working his counter. So you might have the leg up there. But into the second round, what can Addict 85 do to be consistent, to work on the same pressure that he's has before? Because that's going to be the biggest case going to these next couple of weeks and into the playoffs. You're
Right.
going to face a lot of top tier players. So what can you do in this situation to keep the same energy and make sure that you have like a consistent win?
Yeah.
Because so far the counters and everything is looking to his favor.
Yeah, and since both of these guys are relatively high on the leaderboard, maybe not as much anxiety if they're going to make it. I guess we'll see. But you could kind of call this the doldrums of the season potentially. Did they train enough? Did they get warmed up? Did they take this week off? It is deep in the summer, right? So we'll find out. I think both of these guys are such professionals. I will say, Addict, all 4 of his fights have been decision. So his wins have been decision. He's in his losses, and he got earned a draw as well. So Addict is he truly boxes. He uses the sweet science, and he won't really push the pace. So we'll have to see how Royszn deals with that.
Yeah, and that's going to be an interesting matchup for Royce, like, knowing that he has 2 knockdowns, our highest
Right.
knockout leader in this situation. So it's going to be patience versus pressure. And already you see the pressure coming in from Aggregate 5, just putting everything onto his opponent with a nice counters again, but just following up with a nice 2 or 3 more punches. And it seems like this kind of like Orthodox versus Southpaw matchup has to be favoring Addict 85, because right now we're seeing Royszn. He's trying to answer back, but it just seems like he's a little bit off kiltered than compared to his opponent.
Yeah, Addict's doing a great job of getting in there, firing, and then getting out. And he's just a little faster, and he's really got Royszn a little flummoxed here, a little trouble and uncomfortable is how I see it for Royszn right here.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the biggest thing. Can he put as long as these shots are hitting? It's like fencing. You're scoring a point every time you land those good punches, but how much power are you leading on top of that? Because right now we know that Joe, he has power in his hands. He has dynamite that
true.
can throw bombs in his hands. So all it takes is just one little mistake, one little miscue from Addict 85 to come back into this contest. But you see right here, the health wise, Royszn 90 to 93 still tracking along, still has enough stamina to work in his way. But into this third round, we're going to see the copy box predictions in the next round. But it's up to Royszn. What can he do in this round to perfect his opponent and possibly get in the balance of the counter battles?
Yeah, easy for me to say from the commentary booth, but I'd like to see Royszn maybe take some steps back, come in and then lean out, or, he tried there to lean out, but have Addict come in for the counter, get too comfortable, and then find himself exposed after missing, come up short on a couple shots. Then Royszn might be able to punish him with a couple counters. So I'd like to see a little bit of that. Obviously, he doesn't want to back up too much. You don't want to lose on volume and points alone, and backing up the fighter usually ain't going to be winning. But setting some traps might be what Royszn needs right now.
Yeah, absolutely setting traps, but along with that, I love what Addict 85 is doing. Instead of like running into his opponent and just like chasing punches, he's actually waiting until he's in the right distance and then landing his punches. He's not really like the jabs, that's fine. That's trying to gauge your distance to know that you could branch out and do your other punches. But once he's in that zone, he's able to land very successfully with his left hook. That's been his favorite move so far. So it's up to Royszn. What can he do with 1 minute left in this third round right here? Working the outsides, trying to go in the distance. Look at that. Just lunging in and working with the left hook, getting the counters in. That has been picture perfect for Addict 85.
Look at the right side of his face, and Royszn on Kazagi's face, looking a little swollen, a little red. That left hook and even the left jab that he doubles or triples up on sometimes as a counter. Looks like it's not doing too much, but it does now. He goes downstairs with a stabbing left hook to the body. I like it.
Yeah, it's just like stab, stab, stab. It's just like a knife fight in that boxing ring right there. And every time he's trying to find like a different way to block the stabbing of his punches, it just seems like another one comes out of woodwork. And you can see a blaze of punches at the end of that third round. And you can see a little bit of the health got
Wow.
into the favor of Royszn. He's able to put some power punches together, and the stamina is
Yeah.
pretty even. So very interesting at the end of the round how much of that damage could be in Joe's hands.
And this is the question: what are the judges seeing? That's impressive. No, like you've been pointing out, Royszn, he hits hard. He doesn't necessarily need to win on the volume now. At least according to CompuBox, he's getting blanked because of such good counter work and precision by Addict on the right side. But yeah, that was kind of a surprise in the health. Only 10 rounds to work with though, so I don't know. He won't be able to really, he needs to land some more of those power punches. Let's just say that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the mental warfare, right? You want to see you're getting blanked out, but you saw your opponent's health be lower than yours. So you're like, okay, I'm doing something right, but I'm not going to win this fight going the point fighting because that's not going to be my specialty. He probably needs to win this either with knockdowns and knockouts that get like a TKO to get the full three. It's either full three or nothing at all in this situation. And you can see it right there. He has acted like it, getting the counters in, getting the punches in. Those hooks are going to do some damage onto Daniel Jacobs. We'll have to see how his chin holds up. But right now, Addict 85, knowing that he's up, he can't be too lackadaisical now. He needs to keep up the pressure, the same energy that he has before, working on the power punches, working the bite. I think that's a nice way to sell him in, but with 115 left, the counters are coming in from Royszn.
Yeah, nice diagonal dodge, counter to the body. Ooh, it's a tough situation right now if you're Addict because you're up 3-0, but you've been taking some heavy damage. You're actually, I think, losing this round and definitely taking more damage this round than your opponent. So do you start backing up and really being conservative, or are you still going balls to the wall? Well, that's up to Addict, I guess. Oh, big shot there. That was nice.
Yeah, a huge whiff from Royszn, but able to answer back with a punish of himself with Addict 85. You can see the bite shots landing kind of with a little bit of blockade, but right now the range game, that's gonna be the biggest difference so far with 10 seconds left. Who is gonna find that right distance and find the right hooks? Because right now you see Royszn, he might want to go in trying to finish off with a hook, trying to go in, and he won't. He will answer with a body uppercut. But this is gonna be very interesting to see. 81 to 77 in the health, but you have to think Addict 85 had that round as well. So it's gonna be knockout or nothing for Royszn unless something happens in the 4th and 5th rounds.
Yeah, he could potentially get like 2 or 3 knockdowns and get a draw or squeeze out a win, but he's gonna need at least minimum 2 knockdowns, probably 3 or a knockout to win at this rate, it seems.
Yeah, and that's a great start from Roy. Roy doing such a nice job to land with the left hook, but able to answer back with a jab of his own. And it seems like he's willing to take the pain. He's willing to take the pain as Joe and go into the dungeons, the hellfire of these trades to try to find his way back in. Because the way Addict 85 is comfortable is doing these counters, doing the fencing, doing the little pickpocketing range shots against his opponent. If Roy can just make it dirty with these next 2 minutes and, don't care about his blockade, he might have his opportunity to go back in this fight.
Yes, because it takes at least 2 punches from Jacobs to equal 1 big shot from Calzaghe, maybe almost like 3-to-1 ratio. So since he has almost full stamina and his health is pretty damn high for Royszn, and he can win in these exchanges firefight, he's got to make it dirty and ugly. He's been doing that. He's doing that. Addict, on the other hand, I think needs to really start playing some swift defense and work that counter like that. That was nice.
And another thing with remote play, as we're getting to the 1 minute mark of the 5th round right here, you can see both guys' stamina. So whether there's a chance to play the mental warfare is like, okay, I see you draining that stamina right now. Now I'm going to push the issue and go against you because I know your stamina is not going to be working. And so far, you can see how much energy that's taken out of Addict 85. He can't really go into his point fighting. He wants to go fully in and keep up the same energy, but Roy is doing such a nice job just looking at his opponent. He's like, okay, you're being labored. I'm going to just keep attacking you with 20 seconds left. And look, the blockades is so low.
It is, man. It's almost totally cashed out there. 10 seconds. This halfway point of the fight. Who you got winning? You still got Addict up, 5 rounds to nothing, or I might give at least 1 round to Royszn, but I think Addict's winning for sure.
I give 2 rounds to Roy, but I still think that Addict 85 is winning this fight because of his early work, but right now, this is where it gets real scary, right? You're in the 6th round. Addict 85 has done such a nice job in the early rounds, but right now, it seems like a little bit of a down low from Royszn, because right now he's getting the counters himself. Even though he takes a little power straight onto his head, he's taking the stamina out of Addict 85, and right now he's putting him into the trenches, the deep waters of this contest. So right now, Roy, I'm very scared that he might get a rock in the next 2 rounds if he keeps up the same kind of pressure.
Ooh.
Look at it, just the striking is going so well for both these guys, but the power is always going to be in favor of Joe.
Exactly. And that's why I thought Addict would maybe. Well, he is trying to play defense and work those counters for sure. And you can't be running the whole way. There you go. Getting some respect and backing out. On the other hand, like we said, Royszn has nothing to lose at this point. He's just coming forward full speed ahead, which unfortunately makes you a little bit predictable. So that's why he still has a few rounds. Ooh, he could try to set a couple counters, couple traps. That was a nice one there. So here we go. Go ahead.
No, it's just 3 straight left hooks trying to go into his opponent. So it just not a care in the world. So it's like, I'm going to just try to hit you as much as possible. You can see he wants to go for these strikes. He wants to go for all these crazy strikes. But with 1 minute, at 85, it seems like he's settling back in. I'm seeing a lot more power shots. Well, not power shots, body shots, excuse me. But I'm seeing him, even though he's using a lot of his stamina, he's still being consistent with his pressure. He wants to be a little bit more like, I'm going to take a step back, recover some of my stamina, then I'm going to go back in. Because this distance has been perfect for him so far. And able to answer back with a right hook right there, perfect.
Definitely. Big power shot there, man. Look at the stamina. It's starting to go down for Addict. Not a lot, not super effective, but I don't know, man. I feel like Royszn is really winning this round. Big shot there.
This could be very scary because we know going to the 7th round, we're going to see another CountingButta prediction from one of our judges. So we'll have to see how is it going to go down. 60% in the health market for Addict 85, while it's 67 for Royszn on the left-hand side. But the stamina, the biggest thing is the stamina, 92 to 78. So he has all the tools in his wheelhouse to use, and he's definitely going to need it because 60 to 54 is not where you want to be. He needs to get a knockout or it's done for him, and he loses out on 2 points.
Yeah, man, that's a tough go of it. Still a few rounds to power through, but this is where it gets real frustrating as a fighter. You're like, man, I feel like I'm getting ahead. I'm getting some momentum, but it's just not enough. The rounds are ticking away. I don't know. We'll see if he's got that, as we saw in the last fight, that mental fortitude to not get in your own head, not get all sulking about it. And see if Royszn can come through, or Royszn, come through and score a big knockdown. He can still get a flash knockdown easy.
Yeah, but it's going to be very tough when you're facing counters that were coming from Addict 85. Oh, but the head damage, that is a very big warning. We know that could possibly change the tide for Royszn, but Royszn seeing it going forward, getting close, seeing the lunge forward, because he says if he sees his opponent going for these left hooks, he's going to find a way to answer back. But the lunging away, the avoidance from Addict 85, doing such a nice job as we're approaching the 1 minute mark of the 7th round. These trades right here needs to find a way, a better execute them, because right now I'm seeing that Addict 85, he wants to fight in the center of the ring, but also find a way so he has the opportunity to back out a little bit here, Boiler.
Yeah, and he's half in, half out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. In a way, I feel like it's kind of bad, but he does have to stand his ground to some degree. So the judges, though, really, I don't feel like judge or give too much credit to damage. So if Addict can get these last little shots here, it'll count a lot on the scorecards. He could pull this one out too.
Yeah, and I can see that Addict 85 knows that his opponent is trying to go for these crazy strikes. And you can see the head damage working against Royszn, because now he's getting hurt by being a little bit more reckless. And you can see the right face of Joe being swelling a lot more. It's like 1 bar full in, so it's gonna be a little bit hurting on that right side. So Addict 85, he kept up the consistent pressure. He's working so well. If he could keep that up for the next couple rounds, he's in the money.
He is. I mean, if this was a 12-round fight, I would be worried if I was Addict, because Royszn's really starting to build that momentum where he might get a knockout in like round 11 or 12. But with 10 rounds and that big lead, Addict shouldn't be too concerned. I would be on my back foot a lot, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and you have to be on the back foot, right? Because 92 stamina from Royszn, knowing that he's gonna go balls to the wall in these next couple rounds. You need to be very careful about it, because he's just swinging. He knows that like 4 punches is only gonna take half of my stamina. That's like mostly all of his stamina. So if he could come back in, that's gonna be the biggest thing. But one question I have for you, Boiler, you can see that Addict 85 is using the outside game. What would you do to cut the ring off from Addict 85 to like land some of his punches?
So if I'm Addict 85, how to cut off the ring? Or
Oh no, if you're Roy, how would you cut off the
Okay.
ring from Addict 85? That's probably
That's
playing
what I
more
was-
outside.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. I thought that's what it would be, because that's what he's trying to do or needs to do.
Yeah.
That diagonal dodge helps a lot. Directional punches. Now, if you don't know what those are, you can kind of push up on the stick and throw a hook, and it'll be slightly different, and it'll actually hurt people more who are dodging into it or pivoting into it. They still need to add some more vulnerability in this game, but using those diagonal side steps, as well as the diagonal dodge, as well as directional punches, can try to head your opponent off at the pass, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But right now, this is a good opportunity from Royszn, and was able to get his opponent onto the ropes. And right now, trying to answer back with a counter. You see him using it all a bunch, but so many times we see the counter jab coming out from Addict 85 and just disrupts everything. You see him trying to go in, trying to work on the body a little bit, but with 5 seconds, it's going to be a little bit tough going into possibly the 9th round. Royszn, he probably needs to do a little bit more, even though you can see the health kind of being very close. Only a 10% difference, but a little bit closer than what we've seen before.
Yeah, and that's been growing, and the concerning part is 43% so low that all it takes is one big shot and you're in the stun state. So yeah, losing 10% at 83 or 93 is different than losing 10 points when you're at 53 down to 43. That's a lot more concerning.
Yeah, and here we go, already into the penultimate round of this penultimate week. We see Royszn trying to answer back with a nice counter himself with a nice jab, while Addict 85 pretty much feels like he's up in the scorecards. We saw in the CompuBox prediction scores. What can he do more? You can see just like a nice little striking with the hooks and the jabs coming onto the face of Royszn, but Addict 85 coming in with a nice power shot straight into the face of Joe. And Addict 85 using distance, using his stamina to the best of his abilities. And Roy, he's trying to go for these trays, trying to go for these slips, trying to go away for these side steps. He's landing into the right hook. Oh, but a strike! Oh, but a rock coming from Royszn, trying to go his way back in. And with the halfway mark, that changes everything here, Boiler.
Oh man, great work. Royszn did not give up. He saw that he needed to press it. He needed to go all out. Hail Marys, and he's throwing them and he's catching them. He's still way behind on the cards, but he's got 1 minute left here and then another round, man. If he can score a knockout, it's going to be hard to do, but he's still got a chance here.
All you want is an opportunity to find your way back in the fight. He found his way, but can he do it again? It's not only worth doing it one time. You're possibly going to need 2 knockdowns to find your way to get into that 3rd one, because we've seen people have like the quickest get up. We see the quickest one to 4, the quicker ones to 6, but with 25 seconds, he needs to find a way to get his opponent, and those straights are working very nicely. He needs to do it a little bit more, but with 15 seconds, he gets it! The straight landing, working to the body, he's getting close, the body, he gets a knockdown in the dying seconds of the 9th round. That is huge for Royszn. He wants a 3rd knockout here, Boiler.
That was good work, man. He caught him with that big rear hook off a counter, and we had a perfect view of it. And then followed up with that finishing or that knockdown combo, at least. You got to throw those punches after you stun, because it's pretty easy for your opponent to get away sometimes. So great killer instinct.
And that is huge. Able to get a knockdown in that 9th round instead of the 10th round, that is monumentally huge. 10-8 round, it's not going to work well in the scorecards, but this is where you have to throw the freaking kitchen sink into that boxing ring and go for the gusto. It doesn't even matter. You know you're going to lose the scorecard, so you have to go for the knockout. And with 2:40 left, this is going to be the biggest challenge. Can Addict 85 survive to get more points and stay into the lead? Probably hop over Royszn in the point standings. This is going to be big. Can he even afford a trade here, Boiler?
Addict is shelling up a lot more than before, but he wants to still earn his respect, and so he's throwing back. But he got caught. But he's still throwing back. But he, like as we saw, took a lot of damage, knocked down, and I think he was down to like 31 health or 34, which is like a huge drop round over round. So he's just like one shot away from getting knocked out again. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, and that accelerated clock, we're already at 1 minute 40. And so far, I know he wants to go for the power strike. He got that power strike right there. That's a start. He wants to find another way to get that knockdown, because if he gets a knockdown before the 1 minute mark, he might possibly have 40 seconds to work with to get a third one. And right now, the counters are coming in from Royszn. He needs to find a way, trying to go for the diagonal lunge in, not finding his way, trying to go doubly, trying to work his way in. Addict 85 is trying to find his way back, sees a back lunge, trying to answer back, but needs to find a way to just find some more distance here, Boiler.
It is. He is. Oh man, that was a big shot loaded up. I guess not enough behind it, but I thought he was about to get stunned again there with that big counter power shot. Another one, but he misses and he gets countered by Addict. Beautiful work there.
He had to go for it. He knows he had to go for it. He has 20 seconds left to produce a miracle. But with Addict 85 defensively sound, but as well, oh, that could have been big. Can't afford those little body punches, because that's the way he got knocked out again. Oh, and with 3 seconds, fighting to the final second. And that has to be all she wrote in the favor of Addict 85, able to survive enough to get the 2 points to bring him to 9 points, as he is fully into second place with that, because the top tie for second was 8 points. Now he's at 9 points, so he takes a second seed spot pending our other results in the future of this fight card. But look at that clean sweep, except the 9th round right there, brother. Kudos for Addict 85.
Yeah, man, awesome fight for both guys. Now it's hard to see what was fight of the night. I guess this one was a little bit of a runaway on the scorecards, but those last few rounds were awesome. It's a fun fight throughout, but I swear, Addict, he's got guts. He didn't run away. He knew he could have won easily, but he kept fighting. But that risk almost cost him everything, Kingsley. I don't know if he'd be doing the same thing in a 12-round fight in the Elite 8, let alone in like the championship. Would he have changed his game plan a little bit? Because that was risky. That was risky. He got, but he pulled it off, and super fun fight. Great job to Roy as well, though, man, for real, sticking in there and making it a show and get almost secure in that win. So big respect both ways.
Yeah, big respect, and you know that he has to be so happy. Addict 85, he came into the season trying to put on some respect on his name, trying to get the victories, trying to get the wins, and sometimes it just didn't go in his way, and he got draws and got losses. But the fact that he's 9 points clear and he's basically possibly guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, that is going to be so huge for the next upcoming round of fights. But before we even get to that, Boiler, because we need to thank our sponsors in the CFESA department. The commercial food equipment industry is absolutely booming, ladies and gentlemen. You can start a career in this field without going to college and making some good money right out of training. Don't you want to guys want to do that? Don't you want to avoid all this stupid student loans and everything?
Yeah.
I know I want to. So be sure to scan the QR code on our banner images during today's stream to learn more about the careers in the food service equipment repair industry. Again, thank you so much to our sponsors in CFESA for sponsoring the ESFL and helping you guys work in your next career business, because that is absolutely amazing. But Boiler, so far so good. We are halfway through this whole card, but how excited are you for the rest of this card?
Well, man, we got 2 super fights coming up next. Now we're trying to wrangle and put them up together because we got the co-main and the co-co. Let's start, or excuse me, the main event and the co-main. The co-main, unfortunately, Trevor Jobe is missing in action. I'm sure he'll be here any second. Anybody out there can put out the bat signal for Jobe. We would like Jobe to show up because he's going to be fighting EyeGameUWatch, and that, again, is 2 guys who could easily make it into the finals of the grand finale, which will be August 13th, by the way. Sunday, August 13th, same time, same channel. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're trying to get Jobe back here. Coming on, Jobe. We don't want to have a forfeit situation here. And then, of course, we got Pry versus BoneDoinWork. They'll be ready in about 10 minutes. If Jobe isn't here, we'll definitely go straight to Pry and make that happen. And that'll be about 5 or 10 minutes. But hopefully we'll have this co-main, buddy. Come on.
Yeah, but speaking of the co-main, before we even get to any of that, it's super exciting to see how this whole season progressed, right? We had
Yeah.
the standings, we had our first opportunity to work with Undisputed with the exhibition card, shout out to Doctor and Balian for holding down the fort for the first start of this, but really get into the thick of these things in the regular season here. How impressed have you been with the competitors and just the overall process of like going
Yeah.
into like this whole game?
Dude, I've had a great time this season. It's actually been worked out a lot better than I even expected, and I tried to be optimistic about it, but I knew that this game has some trouble. It's in open access or early access, that is. Um, there's some cheese online, right? But we have a couple rules, and this is my whole point. What I'm trying to say, the competitors have made it interesting, fun. Remember, it's just a game. Have fun. They've made it pretty fair. I've seen almost no cheese or spamming or any of this garbage. Like everyone's trying to fight with a little bit of honor, like something that these days people don't have much honor these days. But all these competitors have been fighting with honor, doing it for the right reasons. So it's been a super fun season, win or loss, every competitor. I really thank you, and I'm looking forward for that finale, man. We got the rest of this week and then next week, of course, but that finale on August 13th, man, it's gonna be legit.
Yeah, and talk about the finale because we know that the top eight goes into it, and it's a single elimination. But finals, we're doing something a little bit differently, and it's not even just 10 rounds, right? I heard that we're pushing it up to championship rounds here, Boiler. Is there any truth to that rumor?
Oh, you know it for sure, dude. We're doing 12 rounds for sure in the grand finale. So no excuses. I almost wanted to go 15 rounds, but I
Oh
was like,
God,
I don't do that anymore. That's
I'm
the
gonna
old
need like
timies.
5 cans of tea because like I feel like I'm not even gonna
Yeah.
handle it because how many times I'm just gonna be absolutely losing my mind. But as you were saying, like I'm so excited for the finals and the grand finale on August 13th. Commentating with you, with Omni and Bruce Lee Rob, talking about these fights. It some people like I know we usually have these like warm-ups and pre-production, like we're trying to get everything ready, but I'm always excited and like feel loose. But once I get into it, I'm just like yelling and screaming, and it feels like in my inner mind, I want to say, hey, you know, like this fight, you know, it's not going to be as crazy as I think. Maybe I could take some time to rest my voice a little bit, but every single time I go into these events and fight cards, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs because these like fights have been absolutely incredible. BoneDoinWork, Pryoxis, EyeGameUWatch, Loso have been putting on amazing
Yeah.
performances. And some of the people that might not have like the highest standards in the points, like Woke Sports Fan, I'm thinking about other names. They have been
Word
put
life.
on Word Life. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, Fight of the Night contender. These guys have been putting on such amazing spectacles when it comes to this whole regular season.
Yeah, for sure. No, everyone, like I said, whether you won a bunch or didn't really win many or any, really everybody fought like with great not only honor and respect, but they put it all on the line. Like no one, like I don't know, quit in the middle of it or started pouting and just let the other person beat them up. You see that sometimes, right? No, every competitor here was mature about it and like, look, man, it wasn't my day, or hey, maybe a couple complaints about the game or the lag. But in my opinion, this game has been getting better with each patch. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But even just in the season, we've had a couple patches that have been helpful, and I think it's on the right track. We're gonna have more than just this season in the future. Of course, we got UFC 5 on the horizon.
Ooh.
ESFL is going to hit that 110%. So I don't have exact date or time on season 2 of Undisputed, but we're definitely going to be supporting it in the future, and it'll be a little bit more of a open qualifier. So anybody out there listening, it's like, man, I could beat these guys. I want to get on there. First off, go check out our Discord, ESFL Discord. There's a little section about Undisputed. Check that out. But we're gonna have a huge announcement, open qualifiers, and a much larger field. We got like 16 or 18 boxers in this one. We'll have like 32 or more. And then, yeah, when Undisputed hits, if and when Undisputed hits consoles, it'll really be on. So ESFL's got a lot going on the rest of this year. I'm looking forward to it, man.
So you heard that little spoiler, guys. Like kudos to the competitors fighting on this card, but kudos for you who possibly might join us in the next season whenever that may happen, because the opening signups are going to be happening on the Discord. So be sure to join up in the Discord. You be sparring with other people who love UFC, who love Undisputed in boxing, and also who love WWE. We also have our own ESFLW Discord as well, where we do WWE
Yeah.
events on this channel and on my personal channel as well. So a lot of things are coming to the ESFL as well. So we thank you guys for sticking with us and your patience, because again, we still have more fights to go. I am your host and commentator, Kingsley. Alongside me is Boiler. We're live here on Twitch and on YouTube. And if you just joined us, where have you been? We've been doing such amazing stuff here on this channel. And if you have missed any of our previous weeks or our catalogs, if you want to see what the ESFL is all about, you could take a look at our archive stuff on YouTube, where you can see the previous weeks. You can see where we are in the previous sections and standings of everything.
Yeah.
So hopefully we could get that all thing going. So be sure to like, subscribe, follow, do all that great stuff. We appreciate you guys for sticking with us, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of an update. We're hearing a little bit of Pryoxis and BoneDoinWork possibly warming up, trying to speed and warm up the hands a little bit and get things going. But Boiler, how excited are you for the future of the ESFL sponsored by CFESA?
It's only up from here in a great way. I mean, ESFL Live, in my opinion, really solidified ESFL as like the premier combat sports league, in my opinion. But even before that, with ESFL 150, ESFL 100, with our summer series that we did with the UFC. Go to the UFC's channel and check out the summer series. It's actually not on our channel, it's on the actual UFC. Hundreds of thousands of views. We were able to get some money for our competitors, right? So with UFC 5, I'm hoping to add a 0 to that prize money, right? So if it was a couple grand for UFC 4, I'm hoping we get 10, 20 grand prizes as an example. We're working on that as best as we can. But in that regard, UFC 5, we cannot wait. The sooner the better in my book. And with Undisputed, we're looking at this kind of on a long-term basis, 1, 2, 3 years from now. I think it has a lot of potential, a lot of things to work on, but we're building a base here. And wrestling, dude, those are some of the most fun events. It's just like pure chaos and craziness. So we're looking to expand a little bit beyond our bread and butter, right?
Yeah, and that's been my baby. Shout outs to our Luber for giving me the opportunity to even have a wrestling federation within the ESFL, because it's always been my dream to commentate like boxing, UFC, but wrestling, that's my baby, that's my love. So the fact that we're able to do so many diverse content for you guys, I feel like will only bring up more
Yeah.
ships and more tides for everyone around, and bring more eyes to the channel and to the Discord. But I saw someone in chat saying, hey, where can I join the ESFLW Discord? If you join up in the ESFL Discord, there's a link to that wrestling Discord, and you also be in tune for both of them. So hey, we're all part
Yeah.
of the same community, all part of that same thing, and it's absolutely amazing as we're still working with everything. We're still working. It's a little bit of a podcast that we're doing here, Boiler, because we're loving what we're doing in the ESFL. But going to the standings, as we're taking a little bit of a turn to
Yeah.
the Undisputed, we know that Loso, unfortunately, not able to fight in these circumstances. But let's talk about the fighters that are haven't been
Okay.
able. We know the top seeds, Loso and Fight Night's Finest. Those guys are looking to be top contenders into this ESFL Undisputed season.
Yeah, and they both, like I said, Loso and Fight Night's Finest, they were initially matched up as the main event tonight, and it fell through almost immediately, but it was not either guy's fault. It's just kind of a scheduling mishap. Both guys were like, look, we're at the top of the leaderboard. We'll take the week off. It's all good. I think, nothing guaranteed, but next week for the finale main event of week 7, more than likely it'll be Fight Night's Finest versus Loso. So looking forward to that. But I think really running through these next few fights, or next couple fights, if we can make them happen. EyeGameUWatch and Jobe. This is a make or break for Jobe. So let me check to see if he's come through yet on Discord. You're getting a little live look back at the wrangling with Boiler here. Unfortunately, we've had some pullouts and the scheduling did get messed up. I did my absolute best to tell everybody, like, hey, you're going to be a lot sooner than normal. So we're trying to extend it as much as possible. But Jobe, if you're out there, this is like a 5-minute warning. We might have to skip you. Please, though, Jobe, we want you. We love you, man. So anyway, point is, Jobe's really on the bubble, and he needs a win or a good showing here. So a forfeit loss would really put him behind the 8-ball.
Yeah, and hopefully we get to see that fight, because we know that those matchups are going to be absolutely banger. But looking at these standings, we know that we see a lot it's a lot diversified. Like there's not like really a top tier to a bottom tier, and there's like a mud in the middle. It's like very diverse in the point standings. We have people who are in the double digits. We have people who
Mm.
are tied for third, tied for second. We recently just saw Addict 85 take the second seed in
Yeah.
the updated standings, while Jobe, Jay MMA, and kyoungbutta all tied for seventh place. To be
Yeah, let me do a
sure.
live update. While we're doing that, let me
Seven.
literally
Ooh,
do a
live
live
updates.
update.
Hey. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
So,
Breaking
long story
news.
short, unfortunately, Jay MMA wasn't able to make it today. So, the forfeit win goes to kyoungbutta, who's now at 7 points.
Ooh.
So, and I'm not going to be sharing the spreadsheet, but I'm literally updating it right here. So, kyoungbutta, 7 points. He is now 3-2 with a draw. So, kyoungbutter's, if it ended today, kyoungbutta would make the Elite Eight. Good news for him.
And
We of course had Addict versus Royszn and Addict, right? Got the decision
mhm.
win. So Addict is now 4-1-1 with 9 points. He's in second place, as you noted earlier. Royszn 3-3, but those 2 knockouts were huge for him. So even though he lost today, even though he's got 3 losses, he's still tied for third place with a couple others with 8 points. Royszn, really. So I guess if we'll see if Jobe is here or not. Jobe actually was to start the day today. He was tied for 8th place with Jay MMA and kyoungbutta, but Jobe had the tiebreaker on his side. So as of the start today, Jobe was the last man in. That's how close he was. Obviously, kyoungbutta just jumped him, and we'll see if someone else jumps him or if Jobe goes down with another
Well,
loss. We'll find out shortly.
to go on that like point there, Boiler, we saw talent get 6 points, so we thought the cutoff point before this whole card was 6 points. You need to at least get 6 points to have a chance next week in the finale of the regular season. But now with Jobe and BoneDoinWork has like the biggest opportunity in the world. If he's
Yes.
able to get 3 points, he's basically cleared and possibly going into the playoffs. So a lot of big things going, because the penultimate round, you want to do your business right now. You want to get the
Mhm.
points, because this is not a week
Yeah.
that you want to miss. Because next week, sure, you're going to
Right.
have the divisional matches. You're going to have like the final chance to prove your case, but you need to do your work now. So with the finale coming up so quick, all these points are so consequential, and all these impacts and matchups and whatever the situations may be, this could change
Yep.
the whole dynamic of the grand finale as we're coming up to August 13th.
No, it absolutely. This is definitely throwing a wrench into everyone's plans, some for better, some for worse. I do see that Pry and BoneDoinWork are getting in lobby. So we're just a few minutes away from that main event. And, we've been giving Jobe here a couple more minutes. EyeGameUWatch is sticking around until we declare the official, forfeit, which we're trying not to do as long as possible. So
you know,
EyeGameUWatch, really appreciate you sticking with us while we try to get it moving.
You know what the craziest thing is? I saw Pryoxis, what he said in chat. He's like, he ain't getting any points. Hot damn. I can't wait for this main event at all.
Yes.
Because when I saw this matchup, like in the Discord, right? When I saw Pryoxis versus BoneDoinWork is a madman, using all his stamina, going for these crazy fights, going into the trenches in the mud to try to get a victory. While Pryoxis, the technical boxing, the way that he just like fights you and like boxes you, like not trying to video game box you, but like if you're watching this on ESPN or Showtime or like Top Rank, this is what an actual boxer will do. So it's very interesting to see that Pryoxis, I have him favored into this matchup, but BoneDoinWork, if he causes enough chaos, that could be the craziest fight that we ever seen, and I might legit lose my voice in that matchup. So I'm very excited to see how that all goes. But again, hopefully we get some updates about what's going on. But so far, Pryoxis, 7 points, tied for third. He's on that precipice where he's on the borderline a little bit. The cutoff was 6 points, but he's able to get 2 more points. He's guaranteed a spot. But if he gets 10, tied for first, that's very dangerous. You don't want to put Prioxes in the number 1 seed with 12 rounds. 10 rounds, 10 round Prioxes is a problem. You give him 12 rounds to cook, to learn your strategy and do all that stuff. Oh no. That's very bad here, Boiler. We're in panic mode.
The seeding is super important, man. Like you said, like a 1 seed or 2 seed dude, big trouble. 12 rounds. I really think once we get down to the final 8, I think almost anyone can beat anyone on any given Sunday, literally. But again, there are levels to this game. Pry's at that top level, and if he's running the top seed, man, that's gonna be tough to knock him off.
And
So
for the grand finale, like the finale of the whole tournament, that's the best 2 out of 3, right?
the actual finals, actually, I'm not. Good job putting me on the spot. I think I have that written that I
like,
believe.
we could change it.
I
Card
think it
subject to
is
change.
best out of 3. I have it written, and it's ESFL does reserve to change the right to change the rules, but no, I believe the finals we said it was best out of 3, but the rest of the tournament was best out of
That's
1.
yeah, that's single elimination. I was talking
Okay.
about like the finale.
The final.
But
I'm
that
like 80% sure. I got to double check, and if
80%.
it's not, I think I might just change it to that. I think that's what we should do.
Y'all
I'm
don't
almost
forget about the
positive that's what I wrote.
20%. Yeah, I'm looking at all of you in the chat. If you're trying to hold us down to our word right now, hey,
That's
I'm
why
reminding you of that 20%.
like that.
Hey,
I
I'm
gotta
just
do
saying,
better than that.
I'm a reporter. I'm a commentator. We had to commentate things, but that I was going to another point of where like best 2 out of 3, you already in a war with one matchup, but going to a best out of 3 in that context, if you go into the strategy, that's when you have to pull out plan CDF, elemental P,
True.
like all the way to plan Z with all this stuff. So the fact that the pressure is on you right now, the pressure is going to be on you into the finale and all that stuff. So I'm very excited to see. But as we're talking about pressure, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a fight. As we see here, it is going to be, I think this is our Pryoxis versus BoneDoinWork matchup.
It is.
And there's no lag. We're in remote play. This is going to be a crazy matchup here, Boiler.
Yes. All right. I'm giving him the command. Please lock in, gentlemen. Main event. Unfortunately, Jobe. This card went a little quick, a lot quicker than normal. We did as much as we could to have Jobe join. He wasn't able to. Forfeit win goes to EyeGameUWatch. EyeGameUWatch has to go. He wasn't able to stick around much longer than he could. But respect for that. There you go. Oh, they're changing the damage and stamina modifier. 1.5 here on the ESFL. So
make sure they make it 10 rounds. There you go. Perfect.
There we go. Yep. So big, that's 2 points for EyeGameUWatch. Jobe still has a chance to make the playoffs next week, but that's a tough one, man. That's a tough loss. But
probably needs like a knockout. He might need like 3 points to even like safely secure into the playoffs. But this main event that we're having right here, Pryoxes,
yes,
I think
let's get focused.
On the left side, if I'm correct. Is he using Ryan Garcia or is he using Lomachenko? Do we have confirmation of that?
We will get confirmation. I was wrangling in the back.
Right.
So
right. He's a man of many talents. So shout outs for Boiler for doing wrangling, commentating, and being my partner in crime. Shout out to Boiler right here. As we see here, a Ryan Garcia versus Lomachenko matchup. We know that Ryan Garcia has power in his hands, but Lomachenko all-around boxer. So very interesting matchup to see here for our main event.
Yeah, it's not fun. I believe Pry is Ryan Garcia because that's who he was last week, and I think he's been Ryan Garcia a couple times. Had that beautiful right hand straight to the body that nearly finished his opponent last week. And did he get a knockout last week? I got to check the scouting report. But long story short, we'll definitely get confirmation. Well, I believe Pry more than likely is Ryan Garcia here.
Either way, it's going to be a hell of a fight, and we're probably going to see by the fight sales by the end of the first round either way. So we're going to have confirmation from the get-go. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about time for your main event in the ESFL Week 6 of the Undisputed season presented by CFESA. This is your main event. Pryoxis on the left side using Ryan Garcia and his opponent BoneDoinWork on the right side using Lomachenko in the blue. And this is where we're going to see how it's going to be playing out. The range game, the distance, who is going to be using patience versus the pressure, who is going to use their abilities to use their advantage to get the right swings in, because it's going to be all determined in the first ongoing moments.
It is. It sets the pace, sets the tone. BoneDoinWork obviously wants to be the aggressor. He said as much, but he also doesn't want to fall into early traps and get behind big time early. So we're seeing him fight pretty smart. He certainly is not fighting with recklessness right now.
Yeah, and it seems like we see BoneDoinWork going to a loose stance. If I'm correct about that, but Pryoxis taking the center of the ring. He's doing such a nice job, just like gauging the system, being very patient, working his way, not really fully connected. Oh, but a vicious body from Pryoxis, doing a nice job. And this is going to be the Rubik's Cube problem for BoneDoinWork. What can he do to avoid these body shots and avoid these counters? Because if he's trying to go into the wheelhouse of Pryoxis, he's going to pick you off piece by piece every single time.
Yes, and that's, oh, nice. I love that, how he lunged there, and then he threw the power left hand. Caught him perfectly. Good shot, good stuff by Pryoxis. I don't know, man. I don't have the solution to beat Pry by any means. So I'll give my thoughts on potentially what Bone can do, but trust me, Pry has an answer to almost any counter you try to work on him.
Yeah, but we see BoneDoinWork trying to do his best ability to answer with some shots of his own, but he's just getting it paced up. You saw the timing of that working for Pryoxis, working so well. And with that being the end of the first round, Pryoxis, this is his game plan. Usually he takes a couple of rounds to download, trying to analyze what his opponent's doing, and then he goes into full-on attack mode. So the fact that he's still developing a strategy against his opponent, BoneDoinWork needs to put out his opponent right here, right now.
See what happens, man. Here we go. Yeah, that was such good use of the left hand, both the straight and the hook by Pry. Just so quick, good length, perfect precision and timing. Like, awesome. Good work for sure, especially against a southpaw like Lomachenko.
Yeah, nice a body into a left hook coming from Pryoxis. But now, what can BoneDoinWork do? He's trying to work on the body as well, but he needs to follow up with a little bit more. He's able to get the jab, but so far, Pryoxis, again, that distance, sees his opponent out of his range, sees his opponent go for jab, and now he's going for strikes, and now body into the head again. Pryoxis picking apart his opponent so far, but BoneDoinWork, he still has an opportunity. Sure, he's taking some damage, where he still has a chance to attack the body, maybe open up his opponent's head a little bit more, but right now, he needs to find a way back in the range game.
He does. Easier said than done, but that's really what he's going to have to deal with the most is the range as well as the speed. And speed is range in some regard in boxing, but that's one of the main puzzles, let's say, to be solved.
Yeah, trying to turn one square, and now you see like a whole bunch of different colors to the equation. But so far, we're seeing BoneDoinWork not being fully aggressive, playing more to the outside, trying to bring his opponent in a little bit, which is an interesting play. I mean, he tried to go for the body uppercut, trying to catch him lacking, but with 40 seconds left, Pryoxis, the patient pressure of his style is working so well, but needs to be careful, but gets a nice 1-2 to the body, working so well. You see that stamina being so low for BoneDoinWork, as per usual in these contests.
Good work by Pry, and what I love about Pry's style is, you know, it's pretty much as sim as you can get in a video game. He's always been against cheese and all that in UFC, and it goes here in Undisputed. Not that, as I've said, none of our fighters are really using cheese, but my point is, this looks like a real boxing match. Pry uses real techniques. When I see the game played like this, that's what gives me motivation and hope for the future. Because I'm like, look, this game looks pretty damn good in the hands of someone who's skilled. So there's some things to be fixed, but that's a good foundation at least.
And so far, a good foundation has Pryoxis in the top 8. But if he's able to get the 2 points here, that solidifies his position. While BoneDoinWork, he needs to claw his way back into the top 8. He wants to make sure that his status is secure. And there's only one way, is to go through Pryoxis. But right now, he's going forward a little bit more than usual in the previous rounds. But it's just how much does the fact of your opponent's being so patient, do you try to play it into your own mind game? Do you not try to go as aggressive as you did before, knowing that your opponent's going to be so patient?
Yes, it's super tough. And at least in my experience, both in boxing and the UFC games, 80% of the people you fight in rank that are like top level are just block breaking, throwing massive combos, just unlimited pressure. So you're kind of used to that. And yeah, it's a pain in the ass, but what you're really not used to is someone who's super patient. Like when you go from facing a bunch of spammers to someone like Pry with a lot of patience, and doing the right things, like that can really throw you off. You might be able to take some of these spammers, but someone with real skill and someone who wants you to come forward instead of the other way around, that can really be tough.
Yeah, but a nice counter from BoneDoinWork, doing nicely with under 1 minute. And this is the chaos that we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen. BoneDoinWork is known for that controlled chaos a little bit, working his way in, able to get some nice momentum. But with 30 seconds, we're back into the Pryoxis game. What I love that he's doing is that he's going to that little, like, 9 to phone booth, but at a little distance. You can see he'll just pick it off his opponent after a whip of the power straight from BoneDoinWork. And so far, so good. And that block ace has to be low. Oh, power shot from the straight of Pryoxis. But with 3 seconds, you see that stamina being so damn low for BoneDoinWork. And cover box predictions, this is going to be very scary.
Bone had like one of the best exchanges of the entire fight, but also a couple of the worst exchanges, meaning he whiffed. So he had a great round, but also a horrible round there, especially at the end. He was just missing big shots. His stamina was already low, and he was throwing power shots, which just super drains it. He was so close to like really maybe trying to turn the tide, but I think he's starting to dig himself in a hole if he fights like that, how he did at the end there, unfortunately.
Well, one judge see it his way, as we saw the cover box predictor score said 29-28 in favor of Pryoxis, but BoneDoinWork was able to win that last round. So whatever he did in that last round with the counters and what he did in that last part of the round got him that victory. So we'll have to see if he can keep up that same type of pressure that he's been doing, but it comes at such a high cost for his stamina and his striking, because that leaves him more open for counter punishes. While Pryoxis, knowing that he has his opponent just fully locked and loaded with the straights and with the hooks, it seems like he wants to go back in, but he's comfortable being in the center ring. It's just going dipping in and out, like doing a little bit of dance, a little bit of a waltz right here, boy.
Right, yeah, no, he's definitely comfortable. Not a problem at all. One thing I like about Pry is he's using the diagonal dodge to set things up, but he's not firing right off of that dodge all the time. He's almost using that to bait his opponent in. Now there, he does fire away because he knows that he has an opening after his opponent misses. So he's reacting in real time, but also kind of like employing his game plan and then basing his next decision off what his opponent does.
Yeah, and based on what his opponent does, it's also based on the timing, right? Like, you just have a sense while you're in this ring, like, once you get a feel of what your opponent's striking pattern is, the way the lunge that, it has to be so nice. But this is the range that I love seeing from Pryoxis. Look at this range. Not fully into the face of BoneDoinWork, but enough distance where if he takes, like, one little step back, he's able to answer back with his strikes. And you can see the body already hurting for BoneDoinWork as he still needs to find another way to come back in. You can see it's stamina fairly advantage to Pryoxis, but the health-wise, kind of even in this situation here, boy.
Yeah, but that stamina is only going to get worse and worse. Pry is so, like, he's like a junkyard dog that's got a piece of your arm. He's not going to let go, especially in his body work. Like, he's just so persistent, consistent with his body work, and it's starting to add up. Each body shot that lands, it does more damage than the last one. So he's going to keep working that body. And we saw last week, he got I think a knockdown, maybe even the finish. I forgot again, sorry. But look at that body work. It's like actually hurt really bad. Look at that.
It was just like an anime. You saw like, it was like Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. You see, he just like perfectly sees it, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna think about it for 10 seconds, then I got you. Boom, 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 boom. Gets it perfectly. No bread, no water, just meat into the body, just carving into the stomach again, countering and punishing his opponent, launching away. Pryoxis is putting on a masterclass of putting on execution towards the body, but BoneDoinWork says, I am no slouch, I'm still gonna fight, but he's using so much stamina, and this is where Pryoxis could probably pick him up with more than 1 minute to go in this 5th round. We're already in the halfway mark.
I kind of goaded him into overextending, and then Pry allowed all of his stamina to get to full. Meanwhile, Bone's stamina was lower, and he was still throwing. Then there's a huge disparity, and look at the permanent stamina disparity. Like, this is just going perfectly for Pry right here. We're only in round 5, too, by the way.
Oh, but gotta watch out. BoneDoinWork's doing some work on those body, and you saw him going to the head after that. He had some moments. Like, this is right here. if he can make it a little bit more
Ooh.
dirtier, he might have an opportunity. But with 15 seconds with the left hook coming in, putting everything on the line in 7 seconds, he might have an opportunity. This is just trying to go for power straight, not fully connected. BoneDoinWork able to get the block up, and that will be the end of the 5th round. You could smell it. You could feel it in the atmosphere. Pryoxes wants a knockout here.
Man, I think, at least in my opinion, this is the best Prize looked all season, at least as good as he's ever looked. He's going upstairs, but he's really working the body. He's using offense, but he's also got very tight defense, sidestepping, using range. Like, it's just all over the place, but in a good way.
Yeah, and it's been such a good way for Pryoxis. You can see just work, even though he misses on the strike, he's in the right position where he doesn't need to get punished, or BoneDoinWork is not fully seeing it. He's trying to work on the body as well, but so many times you're so worried about your body, but you need to protect that head, because right now he could get rocked, but the body shots, it's just the mix-ups are just so tasty. It's like a fight.
Yes.
It's like Street Fighter in here, man.
This is beautiful work, just picking his shots, and probably like will land a good shot and then reset, get his stamina, and then throw a 5-piece combo. And it's just like perfect stamina management in that regard. Now Bone here, he's super frustrated, man. That's got to be a tough position.
Yeah, because you want to do so much of your own work. You want to provide the aggressiveness against your opponent, but right now it's so tough to see, because once you go in for the head, he's attacking your body. Once you go for a strike, he's lunging away or avoiding it, and you can't really fully hit him, and you get hit yourself. So it's just, he went to all of these plans, and so far they're not working. He still has a chance, mind you, with 1 minute to go, but body shots like that will just bring the domino further and further down here. Oh, again.
Pride's going for a finish here for sure, and at this rate he's going to get it. He's going to secure the finish bonus, both in terms of the cash as well as the extra point. He's trying to, yeah, he wants to be that 1 seed, like you said, for real here.
Hey, I'm telling you, 12 rounds? You want to go 12 rounds with this guy? Good freaking luck, because it will be a timber every single time. Pryoxis knocks down BoneDoinWork, and we will see higher. Oh, wait, that's a mistake. That's a huge mistake. He's going to go to the 7 count, but that could have been a little bit higher. Maybe BoneDoinWork being a little bit fragile in that situation, but Pryoxis has his work fully completed, eating up the whole plate. And with that, even though he has a right cut, something to look out for. Pryoxis needs to be very careful, but a good knockdown for that round.
Yeah, man, that just shows that doesn't matter what your health is. You take all those body shots.
Oh my God!
Look, I don't know if he's gonna survive this. Oh man, Price giving him the business.
The business of hard knocks into the boxing ring as he hit a vicious right hook to rock his opponent. BoneDoinWork trying to land anything he can against his opponent, but with 2 minutes 30, that's going to be a tall task. As both guys, oh my God, clean combinations, beats everything instantly. As we see another knockdown for Pryoxis against BoneDoinWork. BoneDoinWork, oh, that meter is getting higher up. Will this be a 3 points? It will! Pryoxis takes the top seed, number 10 points into the lead as a TKO win for Pryoxis.
Big dub, and his prediction rings true. You ain't getting no points, BoneDoinWork. But hey, Bone got in there. All respect to anybody who gets in that ring. But man, Pry did some work. That was beautiful. I love working the body. That's why Pry's got one of my favorite styles, man. Just punish the body, man, so they can't freaking stand anymore.
12 rounds? 12 rounds for playoffs? Spoiler, you sure about that?
Damn near unstoppable. But I mean, there's killers out there. And Prize, you know, he's come up with the draw, you know, and he's had, you know, it's tough competition. But that Pry that we just saw with that game plan using Ryan Garcia like that, man, I don't think anyone could beat him. Not at this rate. But that's why we'd have the fights, dude. That's why we have the fights.
Absolutely. And there's going to be like Loso is weighing the wings, Fight Night's Finest, EyeGameUWatch, Royszn. They're all waiting for that smoke. But the fact that trips me up, the fact that got me mostly shook is that we were talking about BoneDoinWork and the different kind of matchups that we saw in this matchup. Pryoxis says, like, nah, he ain't getting any points. He ain't getting points. I know what I'm doing. Into the 7th round, getting a TKO, getting the 3 points. Like, yeah, like this is what I do. And the fact that I think he's found like instead of going online, doing remote play, remote control, and having both guys on the same pattern, not having that desync or the
Yeah.
lag, puts Pryoxis and whoever his opponent is in the best environment to show their best
Yes.
showcase of their abilities. So that's very big to see going to the final couple of moments that we have for this regular season.
I've always said the more skill you have, the worse lag affects you. So if you depend heavily on precision and timing and reach and skill, if you're really like on that fine edge and that's where you're best at, well, if you have ping spikes, ghost punches, desyncs, you're really in trouble. Like that really narrows the skill gap, unfortunately. So I'm glad, first off, that there was a hot fix. That seems like the servers are a little better now, but this ability to use parsec and or the Steam remote play, like that's making things a little crisp. And someone like Pry with little or no lag, dude, good luck.
Yeah, good luck indeed. And also, he gets that knockout, so he gets the knockout money as well, presented by
Yep.
CFESA. So that is going to be a big, big pot, as well as to go to the big pot in the actual title and to the playoffs. So a lot of great things that we've seen,
Yes,
three
sir.
amazing fights that we've seen. But I guess we have to talk about our fight of the night here,
Yeah,
Boiler.
man. Let's fight of the night presented by CFESA. Another shout out, Commercial Food Equipment Service Association. I mean, there's some great benefits for being a commercial food equipment technician. Check out again the QR code, the URL. We posted in Discord and on Twitter as well. Start a career without going to college. Don't get all those all that student loan debt. You start making really good money straight out. You're not just like an intern or barely making minimum wage with a college degree like some people unfortunately are. No, you start working, start making that money, start building from the scratch. And I think this is important. Trust me, as a working stiff, a 9 to 5 guy like me doing the same thing every day, at least you'll be out going to different places, going to different hotels and restaurants and cool stuff. Different scenery, different problems every day. AI is not going to take over. So CFESA, thanks again for the sponsorship. The fight of the night that gets the monetary cash bonus award. I think we're going to have to, at least my vote, Kingsley, is got to be TLG Legend and Uncle Talent because that
I
was
was
back and forth, man.
I was right with you. I was hoping that you said TLG
All right.
Legend and Talent because I feel like the hype, the back and forth, that's definitely fight of the night and got me hyped up. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
craziest I've been for this like whole fight card. So shout out
Good.
to them. They have won the fight of the night. TLG Legend and Talent are getting that sweet, sweet cashola, baby.
It adds up, my man. We're going to be giving out a lot more cash in the grand finale, too. So looking for that. Looking forward to that. Man, it was kind of a short fight night. It was only about an hour and a half, but I felt like we got a lot of good action, a lot of fun fights, and set up for the regular season finale next week. And then again, we'll take the following week off. August 6th will be off, and August 13th will be that grand finale. And then there's something called UFC 5 potentially coming out later this year. So
Yeah,
be
something
sure you
like that.
follow and subscribe to ESFL everywhere because we're only getting started, baby.
Yeah, and also I'm not gonna be here next week, but I will be here for the
All right.
finale. I'm gonna have so much tea. You're gonna see me at full force, and it's gonna be such an amazing showing.
Awesome.
But Boiler, shout outs for you for wrangling, helping out in the back and facet,
Thank you,
helping out
sir.
with
Yeah,
production and doing
expect it. You're the
all of the
man.
amazing things. And shout out to people who are our mods on the Twitch and YouTubes. We appreciate you guys
Yep.
so much. But Boiler, where can they find you if they want to find you and get a little bit to know you a little bit?
Get some boiler action. I'm actually going to be hosting the boiler room right after this. So ESFL will be rating my channel a couple minutes after we kind of go to break or intermission. I got to get things set up. But Boiler569, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. And yeah, you want to come beat up on me in my stream after this? Stay tuned. We'll raid and you'll see me come embarrass me in front of everybody.
Yeah, and you can find me at King AHTK on Twitter or X or whatever it is right now. On Twitch, I'm King BKR 316. I'm going to be doing like a variety of games, League of Legends, some
Okay.
Undisputed, some UFC 5. When that comes out, that's going to be absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. But Monday, you won't see me at all because I'm just going to be watching Barbie or Oppenheimer. It's going to be one of those movies, and I'm going to have
Okay.
such an
All right.
amazing time. So I can't
Good
wait
stuff,
to
man.
see what happens in the regular season finale. And then
Yeah.
playoffs. We're talking about playoffs, people.
Playoffs!
It's almost here. So get ready for that. Get ready to be in the Discord, on Twitch, on YouTube. It's going to be such an excited time for the ESFL. We want you guys to be along with us. So till the next time, guys, this is Big Kingsley alongside me, Boiler. Shout out to everyone who's been here, and we will see you guys at the next Fight Night. Peace out, everybody.